I always imagined that if my marriage ever ended, it would be a slow, painful process, years of resentment, therapy sessions that didn't work, maybe a dramatic fight leading to a quiet, inevitable separation. But no, she ended it with a smirk. I came home from work that evening, exhausted and ready to collapse on the couch. As soon as I walked in, I knew something was off. She was sitting there perfectly still, waiting for me. No TV, no music, just silence. It felt rehearsed. I barely had time to put my keys down before she dropped the bomb. I'm pregnant. For a second, my brain didn't register anything but shock. We had talked about kids, but we weren't actively trying. Then she added, almost lazily, "But it's not yours." The room fell silent. She watched me, waiting for a reaction, waiting for me to break. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. So she kept going. "I cheated." She shrugged. "It's been going on for a while, and honestly, I'm done pretending. I want a divorce." She said it like she was dumping an old pair of shoes, as if our entire life together was just some phase she was over. Still, I said nothing. Her lips curled up in that smug, infuriating way. "Honestly, it's better this way. I've met someone else. Someone I actually want a future with." There it was. She wasn't just leaving me. She was trading up, or at least that's what she thought. She let out a little laugh, trying to lighten the mood. "I know this sucks, but hey, we can do this like adults, right?" I swallowed, forcing my voice to stay even. "You really sure about this?" Her smirk widened. 100%. Then she dropped the final insult. "Oh, and you'll still need to pay alimony." The words hit like a brick to the chest. "Excuse me?" She waved a hand dismissively. "I sacrificed my career for this marriage. Will, I was a stay-at-home wife for years while you built your business. It's only fair." Fair. She cheated, got pregnant with another man's child, and was now demanding I fund her new life. I clenched my fist so tightly my nails dug into my palms. I wanted to scream, to throw something. Instead, I smiled. "I understand," I said softly. "But just to be sure, let's get a DNA test." Her smirk didn't waver. She even laughed. "Oh my God, Will, seriously? You think I'm lying? Fine, whatever makes you sleep at night." She thought I was in denial. She thought I was pathetic. She had no idea what was coming. I walked into the courthouse, still holding on to some hope. I wasn't expecting to walk away completely free, but surely there had to be some justice. I had proof she cheated. Proof the baby wasn't mine. Proof she was already living with another man. Yet as I sat at the plaintiff's table, watching my soon-to-be ex-wife sit calmly across from me, it hit me. She wasn't nervous at all. If anything, she looked bored, like she already knew the outcome. The judge entered, an older man who had probably seen every kind of divorce case there was. He barely looked at me before turning to my wife's lawyer, and that's when I knew I was screwed. Her lawyer stood up first, a polished, confident guy in an expensive suit, the kind who could probably argue that the sky was green and get half the jury to agree. "Your Honor, my client was a devoted wife for 5 years. She put her career aside to support her husband while he built his business. She managed the home, took care of daily affairs, and made countless sacrifices. Now that the marriage has ended, she is left with no income, no financial stability, and no way to rebuild her life." I wanted to scream. She wasn't left with no income. She chose not to work. She wasn't left struggling. She had another man waiting for her. But none of that mattered because her lawyer was good, really good. We asked that the court grant her spousal support, so she may transition into independent life without undue hardship. Undue hardship. She cheated, got pregnant, and left me, but somehow she was the victim. My lawyer, Mr. Randall, stood up next. He was a no-nonsense guy, but I could tell he already knew we were fighting an uphill battle. "Your Honor, let's be clear. My client is not refusing to support his ex-wife. He is, however, contesting an obligation to pay long-term alimony to a woman who is pregnant with another man's child and has already moved on." The judge raised an eyebrow. I saw a flicker of something, mild interest, maybe annoyance, but then he gestured for Randall to continue. "We have documented proof of her infidelity. proof that the child is not my client's, and proof that she's already cohabitating with another man. Randall handed over the DNA test results, pictures, and text message logs. For the first time, my ex-wife shifted in her seat. She wasn't smirking anymore, but she still wasn't worried. And that's because her lawyer was ready. Your Honor, I'd like to remind the court that we live in a no-fault divorce state. That was it. The moment I knew we had already lost. The judge took a deep breath and sat back in his chair. Mr. Daniels, he said, looking at me for the first time, while the court acknowledges the infidelity, state law does not consider marital misconduct when determining spousal support. I swallowed hard, but he held up a hand. What we do consider is financial need. I clenched my fists under the table. Your wife has been financially dependent on you for the duration of your marriage. While her actions may have led to its dissolution, the court's responsibility is to ensure she is not left destitute. I felt my stomach sink as he continued. Therefore, the court orders Mr. Daniels to provide temporary spousal support for a period of 18 months. My ex-wife let out a tiny breath of relief. I saw her shoulders relax. She had won, but I wasn't done yet. A month later, her church received an anonymous envelope containing the DNA test results. A few days after that, her family did too, then her friends, then her new boyfriend's parents. I wasn't legally allowed to escape alimony, but I could make sure everyone knew exactly who she was. And by the time I was done that smirk, it was long gone. The judge's words echoed in my head as I sat there, stunned. My ex-wife, with no current employment and limited financial resources, was being awarded monthly spousal support. The judge deemed it unjust to leave her, without means to reestablish herself. I almost laughed at the irony. She was already well reestablished in another man's bed. But the judge wasn't finished. Given the length of our marriage and the financial disparity, I was ordered to pay alimony. I barely heard the rest. Meanwhile, my ex-wife slowly turned to look at me and smirked. I'll never forget that look. The way she crossed her legs, her manicured fingers tapping the table, as if this was all just a minor inconvenience. When the ruling was finalized, we walked out of the courtroom in silence. I was still trying to process everything when she let out a dramatic sigh and stretched. That was exhausting. I ignored her, but she wasn't done. For you, I mean, not for me. I clenched my jaw, refusing to take the bait. Then, right in front of me, she pulled out her phone and called her new boyfriend. Hey, babe, it's done. The divorce went through. Yeah, I'm getting alimony. She giggled and glanced at me. Told you wouldn't fight back. That was it. That was the moment I decided she had no idea what was coming. She thought she had won, that I would walk away broken. Forced to finance her new life while she played house with her affair partner. She thought I would be humiliated, paying monthly for the privilege of being cheated on. She thought she would ride off into the sunset, while I rotted in bitterness. She was wrong. Revenge isn't about reacting in anger. It's about patience, strategy, and I had a plan that would make her regret every decision she made. I didn't blow up. I didn't scream at her when she smirked her way out of court. I didn't react when she sent casual texts reminding me that my first alimony payment was due. Hope we can be civil, she wrote. I clenched my jaw so tightly I thought my teeth would crack. But I didn't reply. Anger is predictable, and predictable men don't win wars. I needed her to think I was broken. So I paid the first alimony check on time, without complaint. And I waited. My ex-wife was more than just religious. She was devout, a leader in her church. She preached about loyalty and marriage values, hosted women's retreats on building a strong Christian household, and convinced everyone she was a woman of pure morality. And that was her weakness. Because while the law might not punish her for being a cheating, manipulative, gold-digging liar, her church would. I didn't make a scene. No, I did something far worse. One Sunday morning, I dropped off a sealed envelope at her church's front office, addressed to the pastor and church elders. Inside was a certified copy of the DNA test proving I wasn't the father, screenshots of her texts admitting to the affair, proof that she was cohabiting with another man while demanding alimony from me. A letter, polite and respectful, stated that as a member of the congregation, I felt it was my duty to bring the truth to light. I trusted the church would handle it accordingly. No drama, no confrontation, just cold, hard facts. Then I walked away and waited. I didn't have to wait long. The next Sunday, my phone started blowing up. First, a text from an old church friend. "Dude, what did you do? The whole church knows. It's bad." Then another. She just got pulled into the pastor's office. She's screaming at the elders. Then she called me, again and again. By the seventh missed call, I finally picked up. The second I answered, she exploded. "You sick freak. You did this to me." I leaned back in my chair, sipping my coffee. "I have no idea what you're talking about. You sent them the DNA test. They know everything. My life is ruined." Her voice cracked. "They call me an adulteress. They took away my church leadership. I can't even show my face at Sunday service anymore. Her perfect little religious reputation, gone. Her good Christian woman act, shattered. She was a pariah in the one place that mattered most to her, and it only got worse." A few days later, another text from a mutual friend. "Dude, her new man dumped her." I blinked at my phone. Seriously? That fast? Apparently, once the truth came out and she became a social outcast, her soulmate had a sudden change of heart. He blocked her number, stopped answering texts, deleted her from social media, moved on like she never existed. She had burned every bridge for this man, and now she had nothing. 2 weeks later, she caved. Late one night, a text from her. "I miss you. Can we talk?" I ignored it. A few days later, "I was stupid. I made a mistake. I never meant to hurt you." I ignored that too. Then a phone call. I answered, just to hear her pathetic voice. "Well, I don't have anywhere to go. I lost my friends, my church. My baby's father left me. I cut her off. Not my problem." She choked out a sob. I just want to say I'm sorry." I smirked. "Cool. Good luck with your new life." Then I hung up and blocked her. Some people ask, "But you still have to pay alimony. Doesn't that mean she wins?" Not even close. I'm rich. Alimony is a joke to me. And I just watched her entire life crumble while mine got better. So no, I didn't lose. She did. A lot of people think public shame isn't as powerful as losing money or status. They're wrong. When someone builds their entire identity on being loved, respected, admired, taking that away is worse than financial ruin. My ex-wife wasn't just a casual churchgoer. Her reputation in the church was her life. And now she was a fallen woman. The church elders, once her biggest supporters, held an emergency meeting about her moral failings. They didn't just scold her, they destroyed her. The whispers were even worse. Conversation stopped when she walked by. No one greeted her. Her best friends turned their backs on her. Her parents were humiliated. Her deeply religious father, once a respected elder, refused to even look at her during service. Her mother wouldn't return her calls. Her younger siblings were ashamed to be seen with her. If she thought she could turn to her new man for comfort, she was in for a rude awakening. The moment her reputation tanked, he ghosted her. When she asked a mutual friend why, his response was simple. "I didn't sign up for all this drama." She was on her own. She lost her job at the private Christian school. When word got out, parents complained, administration held a meeting, and 2 weeks later, she was let go. She had a full-blown breakdown after service. Someone whispered adulteress as she walked past, and she snapped, screaming in the parking lot, crying, then storming off her car. The next week, she called me again. "I don't have anywhere to go," she whispered. "My parents barely speak to me. My church abandoned me. I lost my job, and he left me too." Silence. Then a quiet, broken whisper. "Are you happy now?" I took a deep breath and smiled. "Yes." Then I hung up and blocked her.